What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today it is time for our NXT and 205 Live review. Now, before we begin, a couple of quick things. First things first, we had about 4 returns across both brands. The first one I want to talk about is Roman Reigns. He is, of course, back. His leukemia is in remission once again. So I am actually very glad. I'm very happy for Roman. Glad he's doing a lot better. He looked very, very tired in that promo, but hopefully as time goes on, he'll look a lot better and look a little bit healthier. For those who have some conspiracy theories, I know I've seen a lot of them across the internet. Oh, this was all a work. This was all just for Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns to help Roman get cheered again. No, I think that I would rather give the WWE a benefit of the doubt at this point. And also, there is a really good thread about that does kind of educate everybody about leukemia and the different stages of it. I will leave a link to that thread in the description below. Please do check it out. Another return that I want to talk about is Batista, the Animal. He came back, crashed Ric Flair's birthday party, 70th birthday, issued a challenge to Triple H. So it looks like we're getting Triple H versus Batista at WrestleMania. On the SmackDown side, we did have Kevin Owens returning. He is taking Kofi Kingston's place at Fastlane to challenge Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. Kind of a bittersweet moment in my opinion. I'm glad Owens is back, but Kofi, after his push and finally, coming all the way up here and challenging Daniel Bryan, basically his momentum has just come to a screeching halt, and that kind of sucks. Hopefully he gets this match at Mania. And finally, we do have to talk about Matt Hardy. He is finally back. He is, of course, medically cleared now. It's been over a year since he's returned to the ring, so I'm excited for that. He's no longer doing the Woken thing anymore, and I don't think we're going to see it again anytime soon. But I'm glad he's back. We'll see what he does. I guess, he might as well capture the SmackDown tag titles with his brother Jeff. Maybe he'll go Woken again, and we'll see some singles gold around Matt Hardy sometime in the future. But that's all the announcements for now. Let's dive right into this week's WWE Network shows, starting with NXT. The former NXT champion Johnny Gargano opens up NXT. He comes out, he's very, very disappointed, very forlorn, talks about his match with the Velveteen Dream that he had last week. If you did not watch that match, I highly recommend that you do, because it was damn good. He's about to blame it on somebody when I think the person he was about to blame it on does come out, and that person, of course, is Tommaso Ciampa, the NXT champion. And he comes in and he says, I offered you my help, but you said no, and you wanted to do it all on your own. And let's face it, Johnny, the only time that you've ever won was when I was by your side. And if we work together, because, the Dusty Rhodes Classic is back, and, the winner will get a shot at the tag team titles against the War Raiders. He offers a partnership to Johnny Gargano, which he right now is kind of reluctantly accepting. So, DIY is back. This should be interesting. And then after that, we do have a backstage segment where Johnny Gargano's wife, Candice, is looking very, very disappointed in Johnny, and she does not want to hear a word. She just kind of looks at him and says, really? Really? And Johnny is like, just trust me, and she just kind of storms off. We're going to see a little bit of that angel-devil kind of dynamic for Johnny Gargano, and I do feel like this might lead to Gargano turning on Ciampa and challenging him at TakeOver for the NXT title. So let's see where this storyline goes. We get our first match in NXT in the form of a women's tag team match. We have the newly formed team of Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah to take on Xia Li and Tainara Conchi. And this was a pretty decent match. I didn't think too much of it, but I did like it. One quick note that I had to make, Mauro Ranallo during Bourne and Aaliyah's entrance did refer to Aaliyah as Aaliyah Battle Angel, a reference to Alita Battle Angel, for which there is a review up on my channel, which you can totally check out. This was a good match. I really did think it was pretty decent. I feel Aaliyah and Bourne have very good chemistry, as do Lee and Conchi. So I think this was really cool. Good tag teams, both of these women are. So I thought this was fantastic. Match did end with Bourne and Aaliyah taking the win over Conchi and Lee. Hopefully these two will be back in some sort of capacity. Looks like they're building up Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah, and now that Lacey Evans is gone and she's busy walking the entrance ramp of the main roster, we have to build up a new star in Vanessa Bourne, who has a very similar personality, I guess, to Lacey Evans. So I guess she's kind of taking her place, and she does have Aaliyah by her side. Up next, we do get a match that I have actually really wanted to see ever since both these superstars got signed to NXT. We have Keith Lee taking on Dominik Dijakovic in a pretty decent match. Keith Lee does have some new entrance music with Mr. Lee laying down his sweet, sweet vocals on the theme, and that was fantastic. And it is also very, very reminiscent of his theme that he had in the Indies, which is always a good thing, because I'm glad that they kind of kept that feel to it. So that was really good stuff. Good job on the CFO's part, I guess. Fun fact, I actually really got into Keith Lee after he had a match with Dominik Dijakovic, who went by the name of Donovan Dijak in the Indies. They had a match in 2016 Beyond Wrestling, and it was a really, really good match. So if you ever get the chance, go check out Keith Lee versus Donovan Dijak at Beyond Wrestling. But this was not bad either. I liked we had a showcase of speed and agility and power from both these men, because they're both tremendous athletes, and I really, really loved it. But the match did end via double countout when Keith Lee was on the outside and Dijakovic met him via a springboard moonsault onto Lee, and both men, of course, could not answer to the count of 10. So the referee did, rule it as a double countout. We did have Keith and Dijakovic wanting to still continue to fight. We even had let them fight chance, so that was pretty cool. I do hope this feud does carry on to TakeOver New Jersey or New York, wherever they're doing TakeOver. I don't remember. But I kind of do hope it is. I know it's kind of reaching, but I'd like to see it. Even if it is going to be like the first match on the card, I'm okay with it. Just give me this match, because you know what? This match absolutely deserves to be on TakeOver. Triple H, book it, please, and thank you. All right, I can do it. I got this. I know I can do it this time. Let's try this one more time. It's time for the Dusty Rhodes Classic, baby. Hopefully that was a good impression. Anyway, but the Dusty Rhodes Classic is making a comeback, and we do have our 8 participants in this tournament. The winner, who will of course get to challenge the War Raiders for the NXT Tag Team titles. So the teams include Mustache Mountain, Street Profits, the newly formed DIY, Undisputed Era, Aleister Black, and Ricochet, who have been enjoying a lot of success on the main roster, may I add. The European Union, Xavier Eichner and Marcel Barthel. Forgotten Sons, Cutler and Blake. See, I didn't forget about them or their names. And of course, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. So we got a pretty stacked card right here. I am really excited for the Dusty Rhodes Classic. This should be a good one. Any of these 8 teams versus the War Raiders will be a damn good match, and I'm excited for TakeOver just for this. We now get a surprise in Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Boston Hug Connection, who are of course the new women's tag team champions, and they come down to NXT and they cut a promo basically saying what they pretty much said on Raw, which is that they're going to defend their titles across all brands, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And I think I mentioned this last week, along with my buddy Tim. I would actually really love to see Boston Hug Connection versus the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. That would be a pretty good match, but we'll see what happens. I'm actually glad that they're kind of making this more of a floating title, so we'll see. And a lot of the former NXT women will get to come back down to NXT to challenge some of the newer NXT women. That's actually fantastic. I'm loving what they're doing with this title, and I have a feeling that Triple H had a hand in these titles. So good on WWE for doing that. So I'm excited for the future of the women's tag team division in all of WWE. It is time for our main event. We have the Blasian Baddie Mia Yim taking on the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler, in a pretty good match. These two have emotions boiling over from last week. Shayna and Mia really just working each other to the T. This right here, if this is not a precursor to Mia Yim getting the NXT Women's title, I don't know what is. This needs to happen. I would be very happy for Yim to get the title. That would be so awesome. I know I mentioned that last week. Mia Yim does work Shayna's arm for the most part, and Shayna, of course, works Mia Yim's leg for the most part. So an arm and a leg. What do you? This was fine and whatnot. It was actually pretty short for a main event, in my opinion. The match did end with Mia Yim finally getting caught in the Kirifuda clutch and tapping to the Queen of Spades, but Mia Yim did not look weak in defeat. She actually looked really, really strong. So, like I said, I hope this leads to a title shot for Mia Yim down the line. So it looks like it's tournament season across WWE because we have the Dusty Rhodes Classic on NXT and we have the Cruiserweight tournament here on 205 Live. Go figure. So we do have both first round matches for the Cruiserweight tournament. The winner, of course, who will go to WrestleMania and challenge Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title. So I'm excited for that. I kind of hope this is not on the pre-show, but that's what they're going to do, aren't they? The first match we do get is Tony Nese versus Kalisto. Tony Nese is back to counting his abs and showing off his muscles and whatnot. I actually really like the more intense Tony Nese that we saw 2 weeks ago when he was facing Noam Dar. I actually really like that Tony Nese, who just didn't really care. He didn't focus on counting his abs or flexing his muscles. He just went in and he wanted to kick some ass. I actually like that Tony Nese. This was fantastic. I liked it a lot. Nese is just an amazing athlete. He continues to impress me. I like him, and people like Humberto Carrillo just continue to impress me. Kalisto, of course, bringing it as he always does, but to no avail because the match did end with Tony Nese hitting the running Nese for the win, so he advances to round 2. I wonder who his opponent is going to be. And finally, we do have the second of the first round match in the Cruiserweight tournament. We have former best friends Drew Gulak and the Brian Kendrick in a really good match. There is a lot of really good stuff in this whole thing. Both these men are absolutely technical. This is probably the exact opposite of what we saw in the previous match between Nese and Kalisto. Over there was a lot more high-flying maneuvers and whatnot. Here was a lot more groundwork, a lot more mat wrestling. It was a lot more grounded. That's kind of how Gulak likes to play it anyway. So that was good. Absolutely check out this match if you haven't. We had a really bad crowd throughout this match because I did hear "this is boring" chants. And I have nothing to say to them, but my buddy Nicolas Cage does. So he'll tell you how I felt. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! We did have one move that Gulak dished out where he basically bent Brian Kendrick's leg and hit a suplex onto Kendrick. That looked really cool. I do wish that would be one of his finishers. But we do have the final sequence where Kendrick does go for the sliced bread number 2, but misses wildly. But he still has Gulak in his grasp, so he kind of bounces him off the ropes, hits a suplex, but Gulak bounces back, finally gets Kendrick in the Gulak, and Kendrick, of course, does not tap, but he does pass out, leading to a victory for Drew Gulak, and he will, of course, advance to the second round as well. Next week, we are going to get Oni Lorcan of NXT taking on Humberto Carrillo, the kind of upstart in 205 Live, and we will also get Akira Tozawa and Cedric Alexander going at each other. So those should be really good matches. I'm excited for next week. So, you guys know what I think about NXT and 205 Live by now, I'm sure. Both absolutely amazing shows. On NXT, I did love the DIY reunion and all that good stuff. I'm excited to see what they do there. But as far as match of the night for me on NXT, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the main event. I'm going to give it to Mia Yim and Shayna Baszler. So that was a good match. I hope to see more of them in the near future. As far as 205 Live is concerned, I'm going to go ahead and say Gulak and Kendrick. Really technical match. very good stuff here. Very skillful match here overall. But yeah, those were my matches of the week. So, that pretty much concludes my thoughts on NXT and 205 Live. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially now because I am about to reach 100 subscribers, as I mentioned. And once we do, I will be doing a giveaway. But anyway, follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support. And until next time, this is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.